really fancy professional here.
Well, you know what, Jeff? When we deal with professionals, we try to be professional.
So where's the professional? All right.
You're rocking that side part still?
What?
Side part you had on the station?
Okay, welcome everyone to the, I think this is the 5th annual, actually, Sprint media session here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And leading off for us is Jeff Gordon. He drives the number 24 drive-to-end Hyundai Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. He's 7th in points. He's got 2 wins on the season, and he's won here at the big track before. And a couple things I want to ask you, but Jeff, coming to the Brickyard, one of the more prestigious events on our schedule. And then 2, this is the first race in the Sprint Summer Showdown where you can get $1 million for you, your charity, and a lucky fan. Thoughts about racing at the Brickyard and also about leading off with the Sprint Summer Showdown?
Yeah, no, it's always really exciting to be here at Indianapolis. It's just a very special place. I think everybody has some sort of a special memory as a kid growing up, whether they were watching or somehow we're here as a part of this event or just racing here over the years. So for me, all those things are true. I mean, as a kid racing quarter midgets, we would come here to Indianapolis and visit with some friends that built their quarter midgets. We'd come over here and either see the track like prior to or day after the 500, and on one lucky occasion, maybe 2, we got a chance to actually sit in the grandstands for the Indy 500. And then racing around Indiana later with the midgets and sprint cars, it was a dream to race here. So now, with the Brickyard 400, getting that opportunity and the 4 wins we've had, this track is just so special. So always look forward to coming here. I'm very excited this year with our win in Pocono and the way we're running this year has me very excited that we have a real legitimate shot at winning this race. So can't wait to get out there on the track. And the Sprint Summer Shootout, I think that's very cool what they're doing. We've experienced something like this in the past, with previous series sponsors, and I thought it brought a lot of excitement to the sport for the fans, for the competitors, and it was fun, for the media to write about and get involved with and talk about as well. So, I can't wait, and hopefully we can get ourselves qualified right here this weekend. That'd be fine with me.
Very good. Because of the size of the crowd, I'm going to call on you, okay? Start right here with Jenna. Go ahead.
Non-racing question. Can you talk about your trip and sort of the eye-opening experiences you had?
Yeah. Just, I left Sunday after the New Hampshire race. Took me about 28 and a half hours to get to where I was going in the Congo. And you get there and it's just there's nothing else like it, that I can compare it to. So it was very eye-opening, from the struggles that the people there are going through, just trying to make 10 cents or $1 or $5 to the roads, the structure of the military, the government. I mean, from every aspect, it was an experience that will change me forever. And I really hope that our efforts there and our fact-finding mission that we were on, that we can really come together with the Clinton Global Initiative lead group to come up with some solutions to help.
Let's go with Tom and then Steve. Go ahead, Tom.
Hi, Jeff. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. It's a very difficult track to win at. Only 6 guys in the field are past winners. Obviously, you've had more success here than anybody else. What about this track suits your particular style, and why are you good here and other people struggle?
It's hard for me to answer that question, in the context that you put it, because I don't necessarily feel that way. I mean, as good as a driver can be around this track and have as good a feel as I've had here in the past, we've also struggled here recently. So, is it me or is it the car? I think that it's a combination. I do like this track. I like how it challenges you. You have 4 corners that look the same, but they're all uniquely different in the way the transitions are, the bumps, There's a few little dips, the way the wind blows, the radius, everything. So as a driver, you do want to be able to recognize those differences that can make small, maybe give you small advantages to knowing those things. But the car's got to be right. Around this place, the car's got to be right. I mean, you need power, you need downforce, you need a car that's comfortable, that turns good. And to me, in the races that we've won here, we've had either the best car, one of the best cars. So I'm hoping that we can get back to that. I think one of the keys to us winning here in the past, as well as winning at Pocono, was qualifying up front. And passing is very difficult to do these days. We've seen that, especially on this type of racetrack. So qualifying up front is I think, going to be key for us. And we'll work very hard on that. And I'm anxious to see just how the car feels. I mean, like I said, this year we've been strong, and I feel like the team's worked really hard since Pocono to get us prepared for this race. And I'd like to give myself credit, but I don't know how much credit I can give myself when we haven't been successful here the last several years.
Let's go to Steve, and we'll go to David and Dustin.
Jeff, Steve down at the Indianapolis store. It looks like it's going to be in the 90s here all 3 days this weekend. How disconcerting is that, or what kind of problems does that present for you as the driver?
Yeah, it's only a problem if I have an alternator issue. It was pretty hot in New Hampshire, short race, not a very demanding race, and when that alternator went out for us, I had to shut off the loads, to all of our blowers and the air that we blow in, around me in my helmet and everything, and so that really took a toll on my body, and dehydration kicked in a big way, and cramps and everything else at the end of that race. And I think it actually contributed to our right front tire blowing out in the last lap as well, because we were having to switch on and off with the blower. So as long as those things don't happen, we've got a great system in the car that I actually have a new helmet, is not new to maybe some other guys, but it's new to me, and just the way the air comes in on the top of the helmet. With my helmet, a Rye helmet, it's not something they've done a lot of in the past, and so this is something that we did at Daytona, and we'll have it here as well. And so I think that will definitely help keep me cooler. But I've already started working on hydration this entire week, just getting ready because this racetrack can be one of the hottest ones we go to, even though it's not physically one of the most demanding tracks. The way the wind blows around here, the grandstands block it so much that you get very little air inside the car here. So it can, when it's hot and humid here in Indiana, it can really be tough on you.
We'll go David, Dustin, Marty.
Jeff, in like golf, you got the majors, and the tennis, you got the grandstand. In NASCAR, you got 4 really big races, and this is one of them. But you look around, you and Jimmy, the only 2 that won all 4, and Carl Edwards, points leaders won none, Kyle Busch has won 1. So how do you measure, is that a way to measure greatness? Is that a fair way to measure how great a driver is, by winning those big races?
Oh, well, I mean, or yes and no. I mean, I feel like it does seem like the best teams, the best drivers, when they're paired up together, do seem to excel at those races, that are the big ones. So to me, they're a sign of a great team, no doubt. And it takes different things to win at those different tracks. So maybe driver, can definitely come into play on that. You look at Daytona versus Indianapolis, to me the 2 biggest races that we have, and they're completely different in what it takes from a driver standpoint and from a car standpoint to win. So, I think that when you win at those 2 tracks, I think it does separate you from and put you into an elite group.
So what's that say about 2 of the guys people consider great drivers today have not even won those?
Well, they're young. They've got years left ahead of them. Not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I look at Rusty Wallace, one of the great all-time drivers, and he really excelled on the short tracks. and didn't do as well on this the bigger tracks, or especially the super speedway. So what does that say? I think that to me, whether or not Kyle Busch or Carl Edwards win at these tracks is not going to take away from to me how great of drivers they are, especially if they win a championship. I think a championship trumps the two races, and so I would put that first. Then I would go to those two tracks. But if you win all three, or then add the other two that you mentioned, which I'm not sure. Texas, I'm guessing, is one of them. Darlington, okay. Oh, 600, okay. You add those to your list. It definitely. That's his list, right? Well, Texas is a big race.
You did win there.
Or would you rather win, Darlington or Texas? Come on.
Texas, it pays a lot more.
But you don't do it for the money.
But I never do it for the money. It just pays the bills.
Let's go Dustin, Marty, Bruce, and the gentleman behind that. Not you. Yeah. Go ahead, Dustin. I'll get you.
Jeff, you talked earlier about your trip to Congo, about being an experience that could change you forever. How do you see how that's already changed you, and how do you think it might impact you? I mean, how did it shape you to the core?
Yeah, I mean, you come back, and I feel guilty about, buying a bottle of water for $2. I mean, it's just, you look at your refrigerator, and you go, oh my gosh, so much waste here. You just start to look at every aspect of your life and the things that you take for granted. I can tell you the first thing that I just wanted to give my kids the biggest hug ever, and my wife, and just, I mean, there's a lot of things over there that are disheartening to see, and you can't help but be compassionate towards those needs, and it's frustrating because there's very little that you can do. There's so many blockades in your way of preventing you from just doing something, but yet there's a lot of good work that's being done. It takes time, but when you come back, you can't help but that impact every decision that you make, and the way you look at things. It just makes me want to cut back on a lot of things that I would say are not necessary, and they call it re-entry. It's when you spend enough time there, and I was only there 2.5 days, but had I spent much more time there, the re-entry would get more and more difficult of coming back to our life and our lifestyle that has so many luxuries.
Are you surprised? Because you had said at New Hampshire you knew this was going to be an eye-opening experience, and you had studied up on it, so you felt in a way somewhat prepared, but really...
You can't ever prepare yourself, for that. I mean, it wasn't like I saw just sick children and people everywhere. So in that sense, I was... I was a little bit surprised, but in the other sense, seeing 2-year-olds walking around barefoot on the side of the road, with nobody really watching them, and we're driving by at 30 miles an hour and just covering them in dust, and they just kind of wave at you as you go by, and groups of women just carrying large sacks of coal and different things on their back for hours, walking. To get $10 for. I mean, those types of things, I just didn't expect, and you can't grasp that until you're there.